Good evening, trackers. You join me here with this fantastic Airtours A330-900. It's a fictional plane. Airtours is sadly long gone, but my family did give Airtours a lot of money over the years to take us on holiday, which were fantastic. So we're going to kind of imagine that they're still with us, and we'll be taking this tourless A330-900, fantastic model, study level systems in just enormous depth to this plane. To this model. So we'll be taking this from here in sunny sunny Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. Oh, there's just been a tremendous crash. Okay, let's get rid of that text as well. Boarding complete. So we're here, the sun is setting, the sun will set on us as we get prepared and take off. As you can see at the top left hand corner, we do have some air traffic controllers online. So we should make contact with them and get our clearance in just a moment. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really nice, fun, chilled flight. It's going to be around about... Oh, we've got an Aero Mexico with no landing gear just going behind us. Sorry, Air Mexicana. It looks like it's actually in Iberia. But yeah, this is pretty accurate for Gran Canaria. Not Gran Canaria, I'm going to keep saying that. Lanzarote. You can see the volcanoes, the line of volcanoes down the centre of the island. And this whole island is basically made from the lava that has flowed from those for the last thousands and thousands of years. Let's hop into this amazing model. So we are cold and dark, which means there's nothing switched on at all, but we do have external power available. So we will turn those on. We'll turn on our batteries. See, the battery voltage is just clicking in, and we now have access to our iPad, aviation iPad. If you put aviation before anything, you can increase the price of it tenfold. That's what I've found. I mentioned this in the last recording. If you haven't watched it, how dare you? But also, it's absolutely fine. I own an aviation protractor. You know those things in school which let you measure angles? I've got one of those, but yep, it was £10 more expensive than the one that you get from your favourite stationery shop. So, what are we going to do today? We are going to go into ISCS, we are going to go into loading performance, and on a different screen, sorry you can't see this. Actually, do you know what? Let's see if I can get this to work. So if I go to plugins and then go to Avitab and then go to toggle tablet, we're going to charts, resources, nope, I want to be in output, and then within here we should have GCRR EGNT. Here we go. 4th of May, ACE, which is Lanzarote, up to Newcastle. Tomjet, so I want to use the Tomjet call sign because that's who Thomson eventually bought. Airtours, Thomson eventually became TUI, but they use... Oh, we've got a ding. Such things switching on. That's fine. We'll come back to that in a moment. So yeah, using the Tomjet call sign is legit. It's an A330-900, cost index of 18, so low cost index, ground distance of 1687 nautical miles, air distance of 1644. Average wind will be from the west, 034, so there will be a slight tailwind, so average wind correction will be plus 11. Average ISA is plus 3, so it's actually going to be warmer over the trip than standard. Average fuel burn pounds per hour is going to be 11 tons. And then we've got our zero fuel weight, and sorry, that's the maximum, and that's the estimated for us today. So we can zoom in, apparently. I meant to scroll. So today on our total block fuel for the flight will be 57 imperial tons, 57,000 pounds. We know it's pounds because we've got pounds per hour up there. Block fuel 57, and then We're going to the next couple away. We're going to take 375 passengers back up to lovely Newcastle. Suntanned, sunburned probably. Probably some of them still with a bit of alcohol in the system from their holiday and also from the departure lounge. Payload total is going to be 82 imperial tons, 0 fuel weight, 380 tons, fuel 57.1 tons. It's gone blank for some reason. That's not really helpful. It's not really helpful at all, is it? Avitab, toggle tablet. Oh, there are graphical issues with this. Which is a shame, because... Okay. I have it on another screen, which I'll just have to use over there. Sorry, I thought I could bring you along with me on that journey through the data, but I can't. So what we're going to do here is we are going to set our passengers to 375, which is a max payload. You can see the distribution, or the location of our weight within the flight envelope on the right hand side here. We are going to take, what was the fuel? 57.1. Not really a lot for this aircraft. This has got some very long legs, so a 4-hour flight is nothing really. Let's just ramp it up to 60 tons, just because I like it. Quick defuel, refuel. You can see the suspension bouncing as all of a sudden tons and tons and tons of fuel is shifted around in the aircraft. We are, what did we say our payload was going to be? 82. We're really going to take 82 tons. No, we want our 0 fuel weight to be 0 fuel weight. Estimated takeoff weight, 0 fuel weight. 379. 379, so we're already above that. Can we take off some passengers? 379. That's more like it. So we've got packs distribution. You can shift the locations. Doesn't really matter. We're well within the flight envelope. So the red is the landing CG limit. So when we take off, we would have to burn fuel to get down to our landing weight. Hang on, what's blue? FT CG limits, current CG. White is takeoff CG limits. Block CG. So yeah, I think we're just going to be slightly higher than our landing limit when we take off, but that's fine. 0 fuel weight. Center of gravity is going to be 25.7. Apply these load settings. Quick refuel, defuel, and then if we go to, so we've got flight plan. Use toga thrust. Don't want to use toga thrust, I want to use flex. So I've got to select the departure runway first, which we will do over here. So I need to also set our inertial reference units. The ADIRS, the Air Data Inertial Reference System, that's all now in nav, so that'll be aligning with laser gyroscopes. We need to set the evacuation to both myself, the captain, and also the purser, which is the lead flight attendant. And then we need to turn on the crew supply of oxygen in case they need it. Hopefully they don't. Let's just zoom out a little bit here so we can see what we're doing. So I always just go top to bottom, left to right. So we've gone top to bottom on the left. Here we just want to make sure that all the lights are off. So Airbus uses a dark cockpit principle. If there's a light on, there's something not quite right, or it's not in a normal state. So blue is it's a non-normal state for in flight. So we've got 2 power carts plugged in. Those are on. So let's just keep going. So we've got all of our power switched on. We've got galley on as well, commercials on, and the bus tie is in its normal state, which is on. The generators are currently off. These are the engine generators. They're currently in a faulted state because the engines are off. So you wouldn't expect those to be on just yet. Let me just get back to my window. Where are we? Overhead. So packs are currently off. So they're in a faulted state. We don't have an air cart plugged in. So let me just get back to my position here. and we will go to ground services. We have 2 ground powers on. We don't have high pressure air. We've got the chocks are on. So what we should now be able to do is go up here and see that we have our bleed systems are both not in a faulted state. We've got air coming in from an external source. So that's coming in through pack 1. What do we need on? We need our nav and logo lights on. We don't need our wing lights on just yet. Don't need any of those on. Don't need runway turn off lights on. Don't need a beacon on because the engine's not turning. That's all good. We've just fueled, so we can now turn on the seatbelt sign. We can turn on the no portable electric devices sign. We'll turn on the standby compass. Don't need any of these lights on. Emergency lights should be in arm, so that light will go off. And that is... Does that have a shield on it? No, I think that's good. A guard, I mean. That's all good. Let's go up to this top, this right-hand column here. So those are all switched off. Those are all lights out. That is all good. Okay, so the aircraft is in a good position. It's going to ask us for its location. So that we've told. Oh, don't like that. Let's just use this one. We've told the aircraft that it is. So we haven't told the aircraft yet where it is. It just knows that it's stationary. So we're going to go to. We're going to load a company route. It's going to be GCRR EGNT. So that's Lanzarote to Newcastle 01. And that's going to give us the route. That all looks right. So we're going to go to insert. Flight number today is going to be Tomjet. Tom 8 for Romeo. Pax number is going to be 359. Cost index was 18. Initial cruise is going to be 380. IRS init. So we're now aligning on the GPS. So the GPS is the most accurate source of location data that we have. So we're now aligning the laser gyroscopes, which only know when you're moving. They don't know where your starting position is, but they are very, very accurate when they detect that you're moving. We're basically feeding information about its current location from the GPS signals. We've got 3 GPSs on board. We've got 3 IRSs on board. That's all being aligned with each other so that we get a consistent source of location information. And we can have significant system failures across the aircraft and still know exactly where we are. So that's all aligned. Okay, what we need to do now is just quickly go into... we'll come back to the flight plan in just a moment. I want to get the performance all set up. So we'll set up our V-speeds and we'll set the runway. Let me just check flight plan. We haven't got a runway set, but if I remember correctly, we do have an ATIS in here. So where are we now? 1802 GCR ATIS. Information Delta. So I'm going to make a quick note of Information Delta. And make a quick note that we are Tomjet 8 for Romeo. So Information Delta QNH is 1014. QNH 1014. Transition level 70. And runway in use is 03. Runway 03, which is quite normal. You normally land and take off towards the north, even if there's a bit of a tailwind. I think only once have I ever taken off towards the south. So we've got control, what's it called? Canary ass control. We'll make contact with those in just a moment. But now we know what our departure runway is going to be. So departure runway 03. I'm going to do a Vasto 3 Yankee. Vasto 3 Yankee, is that right? I need to double check my flight plan. Nearest Vasto 2 Yankee. Vasto 2 Yankee. That's that one there. Insert. So we've got a route all the way to Vasto. And then we climb. And then we've got a Pool Hill. So we'll probably do the Pool Hill 1 November arrival, but we'll worry about that later on. But we want the Vasto to Yankee departure. So what I can do now is, in order to fill in the performance screen, yes, we've got runway 03. Let's go over to here where we have our, where do we set takeoff performance? Here we go. 03. The current wind is, if I do WXGCRR, current wind is 07 at 18. So wind is okay, so that's 070 at 18 knots. So we've got a 12 knot crosswind and a 14 knot headwind. So you can see that the wind will be coming from the front right. So that's fine. We're going to get a bit of air over the wings, bit of extra air over the wings, 14 knots worth. It's definitely dry. Anti-ice is off. We will do flex takeoff. Configuration will be. We'll do flaps 1. Air conditioning off. Recompute. So the accelerate stop distance is 7,301 feet. We've got a stop margin of 500 feet. Not a lot, but we'll do it anyway. So flex 74, 143, 149, 151. Flex 74, 43, 49, 51, 143. Already forgotten it. 143, 149. 151. Our flaps will be flaps 1. Flex 2 temperature will be flex 74. Yeah, so this is an issue with the Tourless. Maybe I need to update it, but it doesn't seem to do. It doesn't support flex temperature. So we will do a toga takeoff. Which is a full power takeoff. That's fine. Our calculations are for a derated takeoff. If we do a toga takeoff, we'll have more than enough. We'll have more thrust than what we bargained for in our calculations. How do I get rid of this? Oh no, I don't want to turn off the parking brake. I want to get rid of. How do I get rid of this? Just want to get rid of my arm. Chair arm. Come on. Up you go. All the way. There we go. Okay, so we have the parking brake on. We've locked the cockpit door. We need to be on. Oh no. Our guy's gone. What's LPPC? That's Lisboa control. Okay, so we've lost our air traffic control. That took too long. We instead will go straight to Unicom 122.8. Bosh. When that's switched on, got good volume. We then want to so that's in standby. We've got standby. We'll set that to auto because it turns on the mode Charlie, but that is switched on. That's standby. That's all. That's our transponder. This basically communicates where we are to anybody else nearby. Let's have a look through. So we're currently on the door page. I thought we had things open, but that looks closed. Let me just pop outside. Nope, I don't even see the air cart, which is a bit weird, but there we go. I would love to get in the air before this sun sets. let's just see what we have over here. So we've got a baro, which is a barometric pressure mismatch. So we should be on 1014 on both sides. 1014 on both sides. That's all correct. Seatbelt is all good. We have, we've got our location, got our IRSs aligned, so we've now got a map display on here. Let's bring in the zoom, just 'cause I like to be able to see close up when we're taking off. QNH 1014, we're going to climb straight to, what does our flight plan say? So Vasto to Yankee, we will fly straight to flight level 380. Because there's nobody online, we can be a little bit cheeky and clear ourselves to flight level 380. I'm just going to quickly arm the speed brakes now so I don't forget about it when we're taxiing out. So the doors are good. Engines are currently off. Bleed is currently from the ground power unit, which isn't modelled for some reason. We've got cabin pressure is fine because the vent extractor is fully open, and all of our all of the inlets are open right now. So we've got even pressure between the ground and inside the aircraft, and that is so that if we need to get out in an emergency, there's nothing holding the doors shut, because they're plug type doors. So we want to be able to very easily open the doors and get out if there's a fire, for example. Electric AC is currently coming from the external cart, so let's get the APU switched on. So we'll turn on the master switch. That should switch straight to... It hasn't. Oh, because it's not an auto, so if I disconnect that, it goes to auto and it takes us to the most relevant page. So because I've turned on the master for the APU, it's taken us to the APU page. And if I now click on the start button, we'll now start to see an increase in the N1, which is it's a tiny jet engine in the tail of the aircraft. So that's a turbine that's spinning. EGT is the exhaust gas temperature, so it's getting very, very, very hot now, 500 degrees Celsius already. Flap open. Should we go and see if that's modelled? So the flap is... Let's see where it is in the 300. I think that might be it there. Maybe. I'm used to it being a bit higher up, but so that's the APU there. You can see a bit of heat haze around it. Oh wait, no. Is that it there? Or is that a skid plate? That must be it down there, I would think. Don't know. Ask a real pilot. Okie dokie. So, APU is on, so let's go back through our cycle. So, electric AC, we've now got the APU generator powering everything. So we should have APU gen is on. Let's disconnect the external power. So we've disconnected it from the system. Now let's disconnect it physically. Do that by turning those off. High pressure air. So if I turn that off, we've now gone into a faulted state on the packs because I haven't turned on the APU bleed. So now with the APU bleed on, we'll go to pressure. We should see that... Where's it bleed? So yeah, we've now got APU bleed pressure coming in 34 psi. So there's a high pressure air coming out of the APU, high temperature air coming out of the APU, but it goes through the packs, which cools down the air and then feeds it into the cabin. Where were we? Electric AC. So we've now got the APU. We've got the generators are still off because the engines are off. We've got batteries as well. So we've got 2 batteries plus the APU's battery. Those are powering the DC1, DC2 bus and the essential services bus. What else? Why is DCU, APU, TR? Don't know. Probably not a problem. Hydraulic systems are currently all off. but we do have good pressure in all systems. APU is on, providing us with power, so it's giving us 115 volts at 400 hertz, and it's giving us 38 pounds per square inch of pressure. And currently we've used 60 pounds of fuel already since we turned on that APU. So it uses a lot of fuel to generate this amount of power for an aircraft of this size. So air conditioning just gives you the temperature, and ew, that's a funny way of telling the temperature. Seems very high. Don't like this whole Fahrenheit business. But for some reason we are on Imperial today, so let's just live with it. 71, I don't know if that's really hot or really cold. We'll just ignore it. Doors are all closed. Wheels are down, which is good. Good to have the landing gear down. Now we do have a few systems that are offline. These are hydraulically powered systems. So they will just come alive once the engines are turning and the hydraulic system's enabled. Flight controls. Can I move any of this? Nope, not yet. I need to turn on the engines. And fuel, we've got 20 tons in the wings, 6 tons in the tip tanks. We've got 2.5 tons in the forward tanks in the wings. And it looks like we've actually got 7 tons of fuel in the tail tank as well, which that's cool. So that obviously gives us the extra range for ETOPS, so very long flights over water, but also having the option to move fuel from wings to tail improves the center of gravity of the aircraft. I feel like there was something I should have done down here, so let's just make sure I've gone through all the initialization steps. So we've got all of that looks correct. Zero fuel weight, we haven't put the zero fuel weight in yet. So zero fuel weight is weight and balance. Zero fuel weight is 379. 379. Block fuel is 60. Nope, not 6. That's not going to get us very far. 60. So it's now starting to calculate route reserves, final fuel. We've got 42 minutes of extra flying time. This is all looking pretty good. And then that's all for that. Have we done everything in the performance page? Yes, we have. We've got our flight plan locked in, off runway 3. If we just go on the progress page. So right now we're going to climb to 380. Optimal is 37600, which is absolutely fine. So we'll go pretty much straight to our optimal altitude straight away. And I'm going to call it. We are ready to go. So have a quick look around. We are online, so I do need to do a radio call just to let people know what I'm doing. Sunset in Gran Canaria. Looks in Gran Canaria. It's because the airport's ICAO code is GCRR. Makes me think of Gran Canaria, but it's not. So there's nothing around. I'm still going to do a call. I'm going to say Lanzarote traffic, Tomjet 84 Romeo, stand Tango 2, push and start Lanzarote. There we go. So hop back inside, bring up better pushback. We will start pushback.
Please, show me where you want to go.
Very loud, but very Spanish. That's what you want. That's very authentic. So we want to line that up with the taxiway.
Ground to cockpit. Tau is driving up.
Sorry, that was loud. So we are on internal power. We're going to start the engines in just a moment. So we will turn the engine start over to normal. And what we will see is, if we go to bleed, so the bleed is currently disconnected from the packs because we're going to use that bleed pressure to start the engines turning. Just jump outside. What you will see is...
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Ready to connect. So he's going to drive into our nose gear just here. He's actually going to lift the nose gear up. Lift the whole front of the aircraft up. You will be able to see that. I think it beeps when it does it. So I'm watching this line of text on the left hand side lined up with the wing. There you go, you can see it lifting. That is exactly what happens in real life. Next time you're getting pushed back, you will feel that lift before it pushes you back.
Now connected and bypass being inserted. Release parking brake.
So we'll release the parking brake and then we will start engine 1. Even before he's told us to, because we're a rebel. Just want to quickly, just out of courtesy, have a look around, make sure there's nobody connected nearby or landed. Yep, it's all clear. We can push back. Taking his time to push. So let's monitor the engines. I really should have had this in auto, so we'll turn off that. And it's gone straight to engine mode because that's the most appropriate information when you're starting the engines. So N2 is settling at 28%, 30%. EGT, so the N1 should really level out at about 19%. It's still starting. Yep, the N2 is increasing. Yeah, it won't settle at 30. That'll go quite high. N1's increasing. EGT is increasing. So it says predictive wind shear is off. We'll fix that in a moment. That's looking like a healthy N1. And we now have the engine is available. So we can actually turn on engine 1 bleed, and engine 1 generator. The fault lights have gone off, but they're still there on the right hand side. It's not available. The bleed fault light is not on because we're getting powered by the APU right now. Let's just quickly. So nose wheel steering disconnect is because we're attached to a tug. Are we pushing though? Why aren't we pushing? Is that not fully turned off or something? Hello? Push us back, please. So nose wheel steering is currently disconnected. Why is he taking his time? Not sure. We can always just do a manual pushback if we need to. Power back. Don't know if anybody saw was it a China Southern Airlines? It was definitely a Chinese airline. Did a strange roll forward at the gate and then power back and then a roll forward again. So yeah, that engine 1 is on. Let's turn on engine 2 just while we're waiting. Don't know what on earth they're waiting for. Bit loud, soz. Let me just turn that down because that is quite loud. So aircraft exterior, I'll turn that down. So if I jump outside again, it's quite loud, but it's not going to blow your eardrums out too much. Hello? Why aren't you pushing us back? Okay, so better push back, stop push back.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
So hopefully will lower us back down. There we go. We'll apply the brakes. And I'll just do it myself. Beep 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 beep. So parking brake is on. Oh, I know what the problem is. Still got the chocks in. So, reconnect.
Ground to cockpit. Please, show me where you want to go.
And then if I go into ISCS, ground services, take off the chocks. What a silly boy. Which obviously the ground crew would have done for me. There we go, we're lifting up. Lifting up, lifting up.
Now connected and bypass being inserted. Release parking brake.
Parking brake released. And now...
Starting pushback.
There we go. That was entirely me. It's a shame Airtours isn't around anymore, because that really suits that livery. You're not just going to drop us off there, are you? Come on. Some big boats at the end of the runway there. That's absolutely accurate. It's quite a shipping lane. Okay, so that's on auto. When we stop, I'm going to put the flaps down. I'm going to do flight control test. And then we can go have some fun in the air. That is pretty gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that. And X-Plane 12 has stopped the jaggedy shadows that you used to get. Looks much nicer, much more realistic. Still a little bit of it. But I don't know if they just employed anti-aliasing or just changed how they cast shadows, but that's looking much, much better. Okay, so we're on arc. I'm going to take off towards the north. I'm going to do my best to follow the standard instrument departure. I'm going to try and turn these.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Yes, sir. Parking brake on.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
I need the brightness of these up a bit just because it's a very sunny day. So let's just check. We need flaps to take off. So once he's given us the pin, we'll do that. Auto brake should be on max, so we'll do that now. Takeoff config isn't going to work because we still have so predictive wind shear is still off. That's also something else we need to fix. So disconnect and hand signals. Let's go to 1 plus F flaps. Predictive wind shear is there, so we'll switch that to auto, and you're gonna have to bear with me just for
Tower is
one
disconnected
moment.
and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Marvelous. Now then, okay, so let's, you're not going to have to bear with me, let's just get this into the air. Huge aircraft, this. It really feels it as well. So, what are we going to do? We're going to try and do our flight controls, which I think is that one there. Nope, that's fuel. Flight controls is that one. What's really annoying is an Indian meal has just been delivered to my house. And I am starving, so I'm going to get this in the air and then I'm going to have that. And then I'll come back. Why is it going over there? So the nose wheel steering on this is very slow. You've got to be ahead of the aircraft. Got to do everything nice and slowly. So we've now got our flaps in 1 plus F, which is the slats and the flaps. We've got auto brake max, we've got the spoilers are armed, so if we go down to takeoff config, it's all green. So the aircraft is quite heavy, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not as heavy as you would have it on a long distance flight, long haul flight. Let's see, the windsockers showing that it's an 18 knot wind. We do have quite a significant crosswind, which we'll have to contend with during takeoff. It's fine. So what we'll do there is we'll turn the ailerons into the wind. It just stops the wind from getting under the wings and picking up the aircraft. A lot less likely on something like this, but you will have more of a roll moment. Even on an aircraft of this size. Oh, I think we've got progressive toe brakes now on X-Plane 12, or at least maybe it's just configured properly. So let's just hold here for a moment. I just want to double check that all of my flight controls are correct. So I've got rudder pedals, which we can see the rudder pedals work. Side to side. We've got ailerons left and right. We've got elevators all the way forward, all the way back. And do we also, I'm not going to try the speed brake because those are already armed. So let's do a radio call. Lanzarote traffic, Tomjet 84 Romeo lining up and taking off runway 03, Lanzarote. Let's go, go, go. Cool seeing the shadow of your own aircraft, even in real life. This reminds you that you're in this enormous machine. Certain thrill that comes with turning onto a runway as well. Just want to get that a little bit straighter before we do full power up. Okay, heels on the floor, toga takeoff, pitch, trim, MCDU, CG, disagree. I'm going to sort that out in the air. So, joystick half forward, side stick half forward. That's very slow on its yaw. Something to be aware of when I and we land later on. So 100 knots, we bring the joystick, the side stick back. V1. Rotate at 153, keep those wings level. Wind is trying to trying to push the tail to the left and the nose to the right. Let's just bring our little yellow square on the primary flight display into the center of that green cross. Bring the gear up. That's in lever back into climb. Lever into the climb detent. TCAS is on standby, so I would normally have a co-pilot to help with this. So we would put that into TARA, that into on, and then I'm not doing a very good job of following this SID. Just following the wow, gorgeous satellite scenery. Lower the nose so we can accelerate a bit, even in climb. The climb speed mode. So gear is up. Still got the flaps out because we're below the slat retract speed. Need to lower the nose just a little bit more just to allow us to get our speed up. Now we've got a right hand turn. Now we should start to accelerate. You can see the speed is creeping up on the left hand side. Just here we've got a yellow upward pointing trend line on the speed, which means that we're accelerating. And then once we get past that slat retraction speed, which is the S, I can bring those up. And that's also going to reduce, so now with a left turn. Again, this is exactly what you feel in the real departure from Lanzarote. Gorgeous scenery. So at this point I'm just going to turn on the autopilot. I'm going to zoom out a bit on our route. So the aircraft is flying itself. Strobe lights are off. So yeah, we really should have had all these lights on. Going on to the runway. Turn off the APU bleed. We should now have air coming from the engines, and I can turn off this because that just says available. The APU power is available, but it's not being used. It doesn't say on. That's safe to turn off, and we're now using the generators in the engines to power us. So I'm going to get up to 10,000 feet. That is exactly the view you get taking off from Lanzarote this time of night. Done it many, many times. So 10,000 feet. First thing we need to do is put our pressure setting into standard. So the transition altitude is 70, which we're just approaching now. We're going to climb to 38,000 feet. And this is looking pretty good. Well, I think around there might be Costa Tequise, something like that around there. Feels like we're a bit too far north for Costa Tequise. So then we're going to head out over into the Atlantic Ocean, the West Atlantic Ocean, East Atlantic Ocean, and join an airway that's going to take us all the way up to just north of Lisbon. And at this point, I'm going to release everyone from their seats, keep the portable sign on, and at this point, because I need to leave the cockpit, I'm going to disconnect from X-Pilot. I'm going to leave you with a fantastic view of our aircraft. from the outside. Let's just jump out. Ooh, that is very loud. Now I will be back shortly. I'm back. What a gorgeous view. Just grabbing a few screenshots. Ooh. Oh, right. Back inside. Stunning views out the windows here. You can see that the clouds over there are casting a shadow all the way over here, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm still disconnected from VATSIM. Let's just see where we are. Turn off the clouds. We are, I'm guessing, nowhere near Lisbon control, so I'm going to what should I do? I'm going to very quickly have a look at map.vatsim.com. Nope. Map.vatsim.net. Don't go to vatsim.com because it's for sale, apparently. I need a photo of that, so let me just turn down the volume. That looks so real to me. So as the sun's setting, you can see the orange. Whoa, what happened there? Bit of an update. Oh, sorry if I talk loud. I'm gonna go outside. I've got the full volume in my ears, but turn it down for you. Yeah, that's pretty stunning. Okay, let's see. So we want to reconnect, but I want to go onto map.vatsim.net and just see who is online. There shouldn't be any conflict there at all. Let's just reconnect. Keep an eye on our nav display. That is probably not going to be any fact. That's Marrakesh. GMME. Yeah, pretty sure that is somewhere around Marrakesh. That's fine. We are north of that. Let's have a look. Yes, we are north of that. We are quite far west of that as well. So we've reconnected. We are going to start converging with the traffic from Madeira. So let's see if I can get you a view of that. There we go. So you can see that's us. And over here you've got Marrakesh. Over on the left you've got Madeira. You've got a stream of aircraft coming out from Madeira here. And we are going to start converging. I'm guessing that TAP aircraft is going to go across to Lisbon anyway. We're going to fly over Lisbon. But as we're at 38,000 feet, they will actually start to descend under us. That's that TAP 2005. So we'll remember that. We'll see where they go. But for now, we're back online. We've got Marrakesh traffic. Marrakesh ATC off to the right hand side. A lot of traffic over Portugal, but looks like Lisbon down here is offline. Porto is online, but just the ground and Airtours. We've got, well, we won't be using any of that airspace. And then as we get up here, we're probably going to stay to the west of all of that. And then up to Newcastle at the top there. But we will see. Might get some other air traffic controllers coming online. As the evening goes on, but for now we're just going to sit, we're going to watch this amazing sunset. Should we go through an after takeoff checklist? APU bleed is off. Check. APU master, we turn that off. TCAS TARA, I turn that on during the climb. Anti-ice protection as required, we don't need it. Climb, MCDU PF, so MCDU for pilot flying. Performance climb, MCDU performance climb, climb. Are we in the cruise already? We're in the cruise, okay, so we've gone beyond that. So that's fine. That and the flight plan, the pilot monitoring and the flight plan. FCU FMGS as required. Didn't need to do anything, no vectors. Barrow set standard, I did that before. Weather radar, let's have a look at our weather radar. So this is it down here. System 1 is on, we've got predictive wind shear is on as well. Guess that should be on auto. Multi-scan, we'll set that to auto as well. That's done. Engine anti-ice not required. Then at 10,000 feet, landing lights should be off. We can also turn off our wing lights. We will leave our nav lights on, but we'll turn off the logo light on the tail. Nose lights can be off. That's already off. That's done. We freed the passengers earlier. EFIS options, so we'll just set that to auto, and that's just going to give us the cruise page, which is an amalgamation of different bits of information. If anything should happen, then it will automatically switch to that page. So if I, for example, switched off PAX 2, that would immediately go to the bleed page and highlight the fact that PAX 2 is off. If I turn it back on, problem solved. That will then go back to the cruise page. So you don't even need to fiddle around with buttons to try and figure out what the problem is. It will take you to the problem. Very, very, very clever system. So EFIS is required, ECAM memo reviewed. I've just clicked that, but how do we get the memo again? We go to recall, normal, no blue. So memo clear, that's no blue. Navids clear, manual tuned, not worried about that today. Secondary flight plan, don't care. Optmax, altitude, check that before we departed. Ecam memo, we've just done the recall. Ecam sys pages. Sys? Or normal? Good. Reviewed, flight progress checked. We're going to monitor the fuel, we're going to monitor the nav accuracy. We may do a step climb later on, but probably not. Weather radar, we've just turned it on. Cabin temperature, it's in Fahrenheit, so I don't know what it's all about. And then later on we'll come back and do the descent preparation. Okay. So back on the cruise page, got quite a crosswind here. So you can see our nose is tilted slightly to the left by about 7 or 8 degrees into the wind so that we can track along this green path along the ground here, or over the water in this case. Excuse me. What would be nice to know is what the winds are doing at Newcastle. So we do w.wx EGNT, and the winds are from 290 at 8 knots. It's unlikely that they will die down by the time we get there, so it's probably going to be a landing on runway 25, coming in over the sea, over the North Sea. So current time UTC, or Zulu time, is 1920. But because the UK where we're landing, and where I'm sat right now, is the clocks have gone forward, it's actually 20 past 8. So let's have a look at our arrival time. Arrival time is 21:37, which is going to be 22:37, so about 20 to 11 this evening. But our passengers are enjoying the ride, the cloud cover's disappearing, so the turbulence will be less. Ooh, I have a GMM all centre, 126,500. 126,500. I've got a request to make contact with whoever that is. Casablanca radar. Oh, lovely. Let's switch over. Who are we? Tomjet 84 Romeo.
Casablanca Control, good afternoon, Shamrock 782, information.
Bobcat 782, Casablanca radar contact, expect Samar 6 Charlie arrival.
Expect Samar 6 Charlie arrival, Shamrock 782.
Casablanca radar, good evening. Tomjet 84 Romeo, flight level 380.
Tomjet 84 Romeo, Casablanca radar, salam alaikum, squawk 4447.
Squawk 4447, Tomjet 84 Romeo. Okay, we've got a squawk code.
Casablanca Control, good evening, Bolin 39 Mike Kilo, flight level 370.
So we make it a shortcut.
Casablanca radar contact.
Ryanair 74 Whiskey Charlie, flight level 350.
Ryanair 74 Whiskey Charlie, Casablanca radar contact, maintain flight level 350.
Maintain 350, Ryanair 74 Whiskey Charlie.
Tomjet 84 Romeo, fly direct. Maybe. To be honest, we're on a pretty straight path anyway. I don't think they're going to be able to give us a shortcut. Clouds are back. Looking gorgeous.
Casablanca, bonsoir, salam alaikum, Ryanair 7 Juliet Victor.
Ryanair 7 Juliet Victor, Casablanca, bonsoir, squawk 6404.
Squawk 6404, Ryanair 7 Juliet Victor.
So I was today years old when I realised that Casablanca was a francophone area. Should have known that.
Casablanca radar, hello, runner 6 Whiskey Charlie, established on the RMP from runway 28 Marrakesh.
Ryanair 6 Whiskey Charlie, Casablanca radar, salam alaikum, squawk
Got a plane up ahead. 40, 50 miles away.
Runner 6 Whiskey Charlie.
Casablanca, hello, runner 6 Bravo, Quebec, turning through 6,000 feet, inbound, ramping.
Runner 40 Juliet Echo, Casablanca radar contact. Via ramming cleared on P runway 28, report established inbound.
Fire Ramen, cleared RMP runway 28, 6 Bravo, Quebec.
So I've left the ground spoilers armed. Check they're not deployed. Nope, all good. So that's not armed. Flaps are up, that's good. Put that back to normal. All lights are switched off, which means everything is as it should be. And we're still on the cruise page, which is a good sign.
Runway 6 Bravo, Quebec. We just realised that we were connected on the wrong call sign for a moment there. Just want to confirm you've got us under the correct one.
Runner 6 Bravo, Quebec, FM break. Runner 6 Whiskey Charlie, runway 28, clear to land. Stand by for the wind.
Good lens right, runner 6 Whiskey Charlie.
So our next waypoint is Tiggy
Runner
S2T.
6 Whiskey Charlie, wind 36 degrees 8 knots. My apologies, the wind list did not show up for some reason.
Not really a
No worries, thank you very much.
shortcut to be had there. Should we go for a little wander?
Runner 7 Juliet Victor radar contact, now maintain flight level 410.
So I think I need to unlock the door open and go and have a wander around. Say hi to the flight attendants. Look around this amazing toeless crafted business class. Is it business class or first class? Well, this looks shockingly like economy. When you're sharing armrests, it's definitely economy. Just gonna... Ooh, you can hear the engine note change. So when you're in front of the engines, you get less noise, and that's why first class is in the front in jet aircraft. So we are behind the noise that that thing is creating. Sorry, we're in front of the noise that that thing is creating. But then... steering by keyboard here. As we get towards the back, you get that horrible rumble noise that you only actually hear in economy. If you only fly economy, you don't even know that that noise disappears when you're near the front. What is that? Just a bit of artifacts. I can turn that off, but it reduces the frame rate. Although actually the frame rate's doing pretty good. It's 31 FPS at the minute, and it's loading in all these chairs now. So if we go over to here, sometimes sitting in the back gives you the opportunity to get the best photos. Oh, they've got a broken screen. Nightmare. There's quite a lot of broken screens in here. There will be complaints. So for those who don't have broken screens,
Runner 6 Whiskey Charlie, runway 28 back.
what are they watching?
6 Whiskey Charlie, welcome to Maracas.
Rich crew.
Fair choice, thanks very much. Runway 6 Whiskey Charlie, welcome to long.
Ryanair 6 Bravo Quebec, runway 28 clear to land, wind 360 degrees, 8 knots.
And runway 28, 6 Bravo Quebec.
This is pretty realistic, wouldn't you say?
Casablanca Radar, Ryanair 496 Charlie, very good afternoon. Inbound chrono on flight level 350 with you.
Ryanair 496 Charlie, Casablanca, Salam alaikum, squawk 5405.
Lots of broken screens. Look at this. This is terrible. This is not the service we should be giving to our customers.
Smoking 5405, Ryanair 496 Charlie.
Even in first class, business class. Terrible. Do the bathrooms work? Nope. So, back in the cockpit. Should we get a jump seat eye view? So this is what it looks like for the jump seater. Very bright outside. This is something that Lamina Research did recently. So you've got, it's dark inside and your eyes would adjust to the light in here. So when you look outside you can't really see any detail. But if you were to go to the window, like in real life, your eye would start to adjust to the brightness and you would then start to see detail. So those clouds off to the right start to disappear in the whiteness of the sun, the brightness of the sun, as you go back into the darkness. It's exactly how the eye works. Exactly. I'm just going to leap into the captain's seat there. So, moving along pretty quick. So we're at Mach decimal 81, 81% of the speed of sound.
Runway 6 Bravo Quebec vacated.
Ryanair 6 Bravo Quebec, welcome taxi, stand of choice.
Stand of choice 6 Bravo Quebec.
So we've got an aircraft ahead, 1,000 feet above. Zoomed out quite far, so let's see where they really are. About 50 miles ahead, but crossing our path. There they are. OCN 31 Echo. I don't know if any pilots take binoculars into the cockpit with them. I think it'd be very cool to watch aircraft from a distance. Okay, slight left turn. This is going to start bringing us.
World Express 757. We don't have information where 757 and 200 freighter ground speed are there.
World Express 7578, this should be coming soon. Report and ready to copy clearance.
Ready to copy World Express 757.
World Express 757, clear destination. Lisa 4 Delta departure on our trade. Climb initial flight level 80, Scott 3676.
Let's check that out to Agadir to the list there for Delta departure after 80 initially Scott 3676 World Express 757.
World Express 757, read back correct.
So we are converging with that aircraft, but it's going to be past us by the time we get to where it is now, and also to 1,000 feet above, so we have plenty of separation even if we were flying next to each other right now, we would still have 1,000 feet of vertical distance between us, which is fine. That's standard separation on what we call RVSM, reduced vertical separation minima, which is just to keep everybody flying on airways like this separated. Now 1,000 feet means that all the aircraft heading north from the Canary Islands are flying on even flight levels, so flight level 380, 360, 340, and all the aircraft coming south towards Madeira, towards the Canary Islands, will be flying on odd flight levels. So they're 1,000 feet, they're 1,000 feet below us actually, so they'll be flying on flight level 370, so we'll fly over them. Or at least over where they were, because they're already flying off to the left hand side there. Into the sun. Do we have shades? Oh, we do have shades. Nice.
Complete for Romeo further ATC available frequency change approved.
We have more shades? Was that to me? I missed it. I guess that was to me, because nobody said anything. Surely this would have blinds in the side windows as well. Ah, is that what this is? Click, 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 click. No, it's not doing anything. Maybe it's not modelled. Don't really want to accidentally open the window either, not at this altitude. It would be impossible. The pressure on this window is far too great to allow it to open. I'm not even going to test it because I'm enjoying the flight so much. Just playing now. So we've got flight directors on. So we're at 38,000 feet. Do we need a step climb? What we do is we go down to perf. The perf or progress? Progress. So the optimal flight level now is 38,800 feet. We're at 38,000 feet. So the most optimal, where there's minimal drag, is 38,800. But we shouldn't really climb until we are closer to the next level up, which is going to be 400, flight level 400, because we've got to be on an even flight level, remember. So this should be at least flight level 391 or above before we would consider a climb, but we're pretty happy today. At 380, we've got a recommended max is flight level 410, so that's when we stop having the ability to have much vertical climbing ability, so you wouldn't want to go beyond 41,000 feet today. You need to have lots of margin to climb and move around and stuff, and we just run out of performance above 410. So at the very maximum we'll be at flight level 400 today, but no higher than that. So let's see, progress. Direct progress, here we go. Flight plan. So it's now showing us. Now saying that we're getting at 22:12, which is going to be just after 11 o'clock. So there's no further. Oh, hang on, we've just got Porto tower coming online. I wonder if that means that some of Lisbon will start to light up. We don't have any more centres online, so once we're out of that guy's airspace, we'll just switch back to Unicom, which is already on the secondary. So, video on the lower A cam, set at a cockpit entry. That can't be modelled. No. Yeah, that's not modelled. That would be incredible. So ESP, which is in 100, that's 80, about 110, 115 miles. ESP, that is on Lisbon Airport, or thereabouts. So we should start to see Portugal out of our window soon. Maybe that's it. That darker line in the gloom. Still can't see it on the map here. What we can see is Lisbon Tracon. Well, actually, we've crossed into Lisbon's control area, so we should have been handed over. Did he send us a message? No. We should have been handed over to Unicom by now. I might give him a nudge. He may have already told us as well, but I missed the message. Casablanca Control, Tomjet 84 Romeo, request frequency change 122.8.
Tomjet 84 Romeo, you already got handoff on third advisory.
My bad, thanks for the help, Tomjet 84 Romeo.
No problem.
Cool, so switch over to Unicom. Get rid of these blinds now. They won't really do anything anyway because the sun's off to the left where there's no blind. Take note Airbus. Or possibly Tolus, because that maybe should come across there. Just curious what the side stick priority button does. It's not modelled. I know that, oh, there's boats down there. I know it's an awful thing to talk about, but when Air France 447 crashed, that side, oh, that boat's turning. I've lost it now. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. One of the problems that they had was both the pilots were pushing and pulling in different directions, and the computer sort of averaged the inputs out and ended up with no change whatsoever, so the aircraft continued to descend in a stalled condition. Awful, 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 awful situation. But I believe what you can do with these buttons is if the captain suspects that the co-pilot is doing something silly, then they can click that button, and rather than averaging the inputs, they will weight the inputs of one of the sticks greater than the other. Something like that. It may even completely override the other stick. So we were talking earlier on, so trim tank transfer. If I go to fuel, you can see the fuel is now flowing from the tail tank into the wing tanks. And that's because we need to shift the center of gravity forward now that we've burnt enough fuel to do so. So that's going to be it's going to be reducing the weight on the tail. This all happens automatically, as you can see. Certainly not something I've started. And what's also interesting is you'll see there's a discrepancy here. So you've got 100. So you've got 10.7 tons on the left and 11.2 on the right hand side there. So there's about a 1,300 pound difference. So that 1.3 tons difference makes no difference to the weight and balance of the aircraft. It's too large an aircraft for that to really affect it. But that's because the APU is powered by fuel from the left wing, which is why it just uses a bit more. Now we can transfer some fuel from the right to the left to average it out if we wanted to, or even we could just switch off the left wing's fuel pumps completely and route all the fuel through a cross feed valve here, so the right hand wing is doing all the hard work until these are balanced. We'll wait for this fuel to finish this transfer, and then I'll just show you what you can do. So we can turn off all of the fuel pumps on the left hand side to this engine, but before we turn them off, we will turn on the cross feed valve, and then these pumps on the right hand side will push fuel into the left engine as well. So the right hand wing will be fueling both engines. Now what you'll see on here as well is you can see two fuel pumps are on, so the main fuel pumps are on, and the auxiliary fuel pump is in an off state. Now I'm not certain, but I think what you'll see is if you've got the fuel pumps on the right hand side feeding both engines, it'll automatically switch on that pump so that it's got extra pressure to feed two engines. And if I switch off these two fuel pumps on the left hand side, I'm hoping that will automatically activate this auxiliary fuel pump here on the left. So we'll do all that without cutting fuel to the engines, in theory. But you know how my experiments with this aircraft go sometimes. Lovely to see some of this backlighting appearing as well. What other lights can I turn on? A bit warmer. That's nice. Map lights. Oh, so if I pull this out, that. Or does the map light turn on this side bit here? Yeah, so it's up there. Bit pointless. And then you've got console lighting. Just leave it dimmed. Foot warmers can be left off. Just fold away our tray table. As you know, I've had a fantastic Indian meal already after a somewhat anticlimactic start to the flight. More boats. Is that a boat or is that a buoy? Yeah, it's a boat floating away from us. Sailing away from us, I guess. Let me just shimmy across. Pretend to be a co-pilot for a moment, just to see we can see any sign in the distance of civilization. I think that's clouds. Short answer is no. Where are we? So yeah, you can see here's Lisbon on the right hand side. You should see ESP, SRA, LIS, CAS, ESP, there we go. So ESP is just at the tip of that peninsula there, just south of Lisbon Airport, which is there. Really nice visual approach, actually, into Lisbon. So you fly down the river here, and then there's a bridge, and then you turn right at the bridge, which I think must be there. That lines you up straight down runway 02. Estadio do Sporting, which I guess is Sporting Lisbon Stadium. We've got the Stadio for Benfica. These are all visual reporting points, or visual reference points. Then we've got Porto a bit further up, which we can't quite see yet. This map is limited, and it is quite frustrating that it's limited, but yeah, it is what it is. Oh, the sun has completely set while I was talking. Nope, hang on, wrong side of the plane. Bosh, there we go. The sun is still setting over there. Do have an aircraft ahead. Same level currently, but climbing. 300 feet above. ETP is our equi-time point. That's basically halfway through the flight. So, still got 200 pounds in the fuel tank in the tail, but that's probably all it will get out of that tank. So we're actually just within 300 pounds now between those two. What I'm going to do is experiment with the fuel system, which you should never do, but let's do it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the fuel crossfeed, and that means that we've got a connection now from the left hand side to the right hand side. What I can now do is start turning off the fuel pumps on the left engine, so that's now off. Left standby went into fault mode and then went off, which suggests that, yes, we've now got the standby pump is now being turned on. We've now got left pump 2 low pressure, which you would expect when we've just turned it off. Now what I'm going to do is turn off the other fuel pump. And now already we should start to see these two balancing out as fuel starts to flow from the right wing to the left. Or maybe that auxiliary standby pump is enough. Let's just turn that one off as well. So all the fuel to both engines is now coming from this right hand side tank. So it says there, fuel left wing pumps low, left fuel gravity feed only, so it is still being fed. Fuel is still coming from the left wing, but it's just because the pumps are in the bottom of the wing and gravity is pushing that through. But you can see here we're now getting fuel coming down on the right hand side, fuel staying pretty much the same on the left hand side. And when they get within maybe 150 pounds of each other, I'll start to turn on the left wing pumps again. So you can do this, you can have things perfectly balanced, but a few £100 when it's 13 tons of fuel, it really makes no difference. So I need to start thinking about turning these back on now. So if I go back up here, start by turning on the main pumps, turn the standby pump on, not turn off the crossfeed just yet until we start to see fuel flowing from the left engine, which we're doing, the left tanks, which we're doing now. So they're now within £100 either side. Standby pump is armed and ready, but it's not switched on. That fuel is now going in pretty well, so we'll turn off the crossfeed valve. And that says left standby pump is off. Should be on. Maybe it's just telling us that because I don't know why it's telling us that. It's actually switched on. Just clear that message for now, and then we'll go into recall. Maybe I'd switched it off by mistake. Oh no, I did. I switched them all off before, didn't I? Yeah, it's just letting us know that. We'll just clear that from the system for now. There's now nothing flagged. Sun now gone. We must be able to see some land now. Yeah, there we go. Just see the coastline there. Boats were added in X-Plane. Was it? Yeah, it must have been part of X-Plane 12, maybe 12.1. They do add quite a lot when you're flying around. You do see a lot of boats, especially. I fly to India quite often. You see quite a lot of boats around Istanbul and traversing the Black Sea. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm just going to turn down this sound. So I want to jump outside. Let me just turn down your volume. Not quite as photogenic as during the sunrise, but it never is it? I think that there's probably a good time just to have a quick break. Be back shortly. looking pretty nice. Now, oh, look at those boats. That looks pretty cool. That strange twilight time. Okay, enough of that. Does that engine sound louder than before? Oh, 82 N1. No, I think I'm just making it up. Yep. To me that just sounds a little bit different, but maybe it's just me. Okay, so still not at the equi-time point just yet. ATP. I can't show terrain on nav display, so we'll get a view of the ground. Maybe not that far out. You can see the coast, I guess, there. Not really serving us anything. It's a boats. It's just nice, isn't it? Little boat lights. Just adds a little bit of immersion. So one thing that changed in X-Plane 12 compared to the earlier, well, no, it was in 12.3, maybe 12.4, was they actually changed the sky from being pre-painted artwork to being sort of like dynamic, real. So we can't see any stars just yet, but once we do, look at all those boats. Because Lisbon is a big port, you would expect to see that amount of traffic going in and out of a big port. So yeah, you can just start to see these stars. Just try and zoom in, that is a star, it's not like a U2 flying up there, is it? No. Then you can just start making out these stars. And rather than the sunsets being pre-painted as well, all this is generated on the fly. So what I want to find out now, just brightening up the MCDU as well. Fuel prediction page. So estimated fuel on board is going to be 16.6 tons. Zero fuel weight at the start was 379. Zero fuel weight CG I think was actually slightly different than that, but that's fine. Fuel on board is 36.2. We can do a jettison. Is that right? Jettison gross weight. So I think the current gross weight, so that's So yeah, add those two together and you should get the gross weight, which is all the fuel and the zero fuel weight, which is the zero fuel weight doesn't change. That's the weight of everything on board. The passengers, the water, potable water for teas and coffees, crew, and a nominal number kilos for the passengers. All the catering, that's our zero fuel weight. That doesn't change because we don't get rid of any of that during the flight. But the fuel is variable, that does move. So we loaded up 60 tons of fuel when we came on board the aircraft. We've now got 36, but we do use a lot more fuel during the climb, the takeoff and the climb, than you do in the cruise, the descent and the landing. So although we're just coming up to the equitime point now, just past Deimos, and we are down to just above halfway fuel, we're actually going to land with, as we said before, what's that, 16 tons of fuel. Estimated fuel on board 16.5 tons. So to get to the halfway point, we're going to use about 30 tons, maybe 28 tons. But then to get from the halfway point, the equitime point, to landing, we're only going to use 16, 18. So you burn an extra 10 tons taking off and climbing. Pretty significant. Yeah, I was a bit dubious when Lamina Research started talking about boats, but that is quite nice, just seeing them down there. Oh, I've left the door open. That's terrible operational security. Shut. Maybe that's why it was louder than I remember. Lock the door. Ah, that's better. So I want to turn this light off up here, and I think it is somewhere around here. Dome light. Dim. Ooh, CTL, what does that do? Just turns on everything. Ooh, wow, lots of lights. What I will do now is just see if I can get the avatar back up again. Nope. Looks goosed. So what I'll have to do is compare it manually. Oh, the plane that we saw taking off earlier on from Madeira, TAP 2005, is actually going to Porto. So it's just behind us doing an arrival. France is all online. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get another. I don't think we're getting another controller online. So what I was going to do is do a quick cross-reference between our fuel plan and our actual plan. So we're going to flight plan. Our next... How do I get the fuel? There we go, fuel on board. So for Demos, 343, so 34.3 is what we're expecting to get at Demos. If I can figure out how to do this. There we go. So this is the fuel plan that we put together. That was auto-generated by Navigraph. So Demos is there, and our estimated fuel on board is 31 tons. So we've actually got more fuel on board than we anticipated, partly because I added an extra 3 tons. And we're going to have an extra 3 tons when we get there, so that's absolutely perfect from a fuel planning point of view. Love flying at this time of night. Not a lot of energy in the air, so it's usually quite smooth. Start to see the stars coming out. See the boats. It's just going night for us, but down there, already been nighttime for quite a while. Exciting news. Coming up, we've got a very slight right turn. I know, it's very exciting. Tell you what, we'll try and figure out when it happens by monitoring the flight controls. That's how exciting things get in the cruise. So what we should start to see is the right elevator? No, the right aileron will lift up, which will push that wing down. The left aileron will move down to push that wing up, and then we'll bank to the right. Ready? Right hand side will come up, left hand side will come down. May see a little bit of the rudder movement just to coordinate, but possibly not. I want to see these ailerons start to move. There we go. Aileron on the left is going up. See on the PFD we've got a turn. And the autopilot's just holding those ailerons in that position while we're turning. You can see in the compass we're just turning there. That's quite annoying. I was really enjoying that. Well, I guess we'll have to continue this another time. Didn't even make it to the equi-time point. It's extremely annoying. Hey. Okay. Thanks for watching, Chockers. I'll see you again.